Hello, welcome to Dear IJ. This is where we add value to your spirit, body, mind, and soul. Please join us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Remember, no pretense, no judgment. This is how it works. People write about a problem, and you're invited to write about your problem, your challenges, and let us work our way through it. We summarize the writing and try to help by making suggestions. It's important I let you know that I am a trained psychologist, and combined with human experience, I hope I'll be of help. So let's go there. This letter we got today is from Geraldine. I love that name, Geraldine. Sounds so. She said, Dear IJ, I am married with 4 children. I hate sex. I discovered this hatred early enough to know that I will only subscribe to it for childbirth. I recently came across the story of a girl that admitted that she was sexually molested severally as a child, and she ended up enjoying casual sex. As in she became promiscuous as a result of the molestation. I too was sexually molested, which is why I hate sex, as it leads me to relive my childhood experience. Please, IJ, is there a way to put an end to this endless cycle of reliving my childhood horrors? It has been a problem in my marriage to the point that I deliberately set my husband up with younger females to satisfy his sexual needs, as I know that I am not interested. I know he loves me, but unfortunately, sex is traumatic to me. Please help me. I want to end this painful situation. Wow. Geraldine, thank you. I want to thank you for the gift of sharing. The truth of the matter is that a lot of people are on this boat. I want to tell you categorically that the girl you say you came across a tape that said she's promiscuous because she was sexually molested is her way of dealing with the molestation. People deal with trauma differently. So a sexual molestation history is similar. The way people deal with it differ, but it is all trauma. The girl that is liking sex or loving sex because she was traumatized is still traumatized. And people like you who don't like it because of your molestation is still going through the same thing. First things first, I would like for you to please go see a psychologist because you need therapy. You need therapy to reconcile the trauma of your childhood with your adult self. Because until you reconcile with it, what do I mean reconcile? The story of it, the experience of it needs to make sense for you in a functional way. So there might be people you need to forgive. There might be emotions you need to tackle. There might be things you need to make peace with and start to weave it into the person that you have become. Because you cannot separate your past from who you are. But certainly you can deal with it in a way that you can package it in your mind in a safe way, that it becomes part of your acceptance process. You've accepted that this has happened to you, but you also make sure it doesn't traumatize you or destroy your life as a result of. People do react differently by becoming something or by unbecoming something. So in one case, you see somebody who has been traumatized as a child, different types of trauma, it may not even be sexual, and they will act extremely differently from the next person. So it's important that you don't even try to compare the way you're managing your trauma with the way somebody else is, because if you look inside plus personality, of course, the way people will now express it will be different. It will also be important that when you're looking for a psychologist, you look for one that specializes in healing from childhood trauma. It's a specialty. People who deal with trauma. What you're going through is a very complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Your sexual life has been altered by a traumatic experience. So it stresses you. It triggers, some things will be triggered by that experience. and you've not been able to, like I said, reconcile that. The other thing is to find a support network. Well, I'm working really hard. I don't know how best to do it, but I'm really working hard to see if we can start a group for people with childhood trauma. Do it online, have limited number, maybe just 12 people per group, and so that we can go start the process of healing. But eventually the goal will be for members of that online group, virtual group, to find psychologists where they live to continue with treatment. Another thing, I keep talking about journals. That's because you need to acknowledge your inner child. That child that was molested, you need to talk to that child. You need to make peace with that child. You need to reconcile with the emotions that all of that bring to you. If the person who molested you or the people who molested you are still around you, you may even get to the point where you want to address them. You get to a point where you have to forgive them and forgive yourself, because victims of child sexual abuse tend to always blame themselves without even knowing. Oh, maybe if I sat differently, maybe if I wore something different, maybe if I didn't go to this person's house, this thing wouldn't have happened. You start blaming yourself for it. So you need to make peace with all that. You need to also understand the triggers. What triggers you? Is it really having sex with your husband, or is it a smell, or is it a certain type of feeling, or is it an anxiety? Those are things you have to work out with your therapist. Again, you can also keep a journal. I keep talking about journal keeping. You can also keep a journal, because journals help you just express yourself, pour out your heart, and it helps with the healing process. Start a journal. If you can think back to the trauma, fine. If you can't think back to the trauma, no problem. You can start with how you feel. What are the feelings that comes over you before you are about to make love with your husband? And start writing it and expressing it. And then from acknowledging it, you now start going to where you would like to be, what you would want, an alternative you want for that. Another thing you can do is to mirror your motives. What is it that can help you, that can motivate you to feel better about the experience? Talk to your spouse about it. Let him be part of the journey. Confide in him about why you are the way you are, the experiences you've had. It also helps, especially if you have an understanding husband. You say your husband loves you, so he will understand better. You may try to use letter writing. Write a letter to your young self, apologizing to your young self that you know that thing that happened really is embarrassing to you, is hurtful to you, that, let bygones be bygones. But a therapist who is trained in this will help you better. Because sometimes if you write letters to your young self, you're able to say certain things. You look back and say certain things to yourself. It's healing. It's healing. You should also try to meditate with your inner child. Again, these are processes of reconciliation. Some people don't realize that they might be having experiences they're having today because they've not made peace with their inner child. So that inner child is still troubled. And so the adult is troubled. Try something new. Don't forget about being positive. Be positive, even though you're having this, but know that there's healing in sight. If you find the right therapist, they'll walk you through it. But above all, please use affirmations, daily affirmations. When you feel anxious, sad, you said it makes you sad. I felt sad when I read that sometimes you set your husband up with other females. That means that this is really, really a problem. So you will need to see a psychologist. There's no way around it. You need therapy. And you need therapy because you need healing. Allow yourself to heal, but be hopeful. I hope this was helpful, and thank you so much for sharing this with us, because it's not easy, Geraldine, to share such a thing. I'm sure so many women out there, so many men even, are going through the same thing. With men, you see it in men. Some men who are promiscuous, who seem to be having sex with anything that works, they are actually trying to heal the inner child that was sexually molested or traumatized, and they're trying to prove that they are man enough, and they start having promiscuous sex all over the place. People will say, hey, this person, he can't any. They are traumatized. There's so many things that people do out of trauma, especially childhood trauma, that you look at them, you start criticizing them. But something must have happened to them. So we should exercise some level of empathy. In the meantime, do take care of yourself, Geraldine. I wish you well. Please like, share, and subscribe. to Dear IJ on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Remember, be healthy, be happy, and please keep it positive. Until next time, that's it from me. Take good care of yourself.